Shalom. And I want to start off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Uchach Chodesh. Double honors to my teachers, their apostles, and elders, great millstone. And salutations to you, Akim, that's out there listening, pushing forward this word with truth and sincerity. And your few Akwat as well. Let's listen with sincerity. I'm the brother Mechaya from the camp GMS Montreal, coming back with another lesson. And this truth really changes you, okay, as far as you becoming a better person, like the term character development, right? When you come into this truth, it's really amplified, man. Let's look up that character development. Character development, okay? So this is character development. Let's look at that here. It says, what is character development? Character development is the process of creating fictional characters with the same depth and complexity as real-life human beings. Throughout the story writing process, the author will develop any number of character traits to fully flesh out the people that populate their stories. Okay, it's not really going into it, but basically when the character develops, let's see what the AI review says. It says, character development is the process of creating and portraying three-dimensional fictional characters with depth, personality, and clear motivations, which can evolve. That's what we're looking for. Which can evolve, establishing a compelling backstory and traits. You see, evolve. That's what we're looking for here. That evolve. Okay, that's what it's all about. Because when you read any novel or any book, what makes the story like intriguing or captivating is the fact that your favorite character that you might be reading in the story is how that you seeing him developing or she developing throughout the story and evolving. Okay, it says which can evolve, establishing a compelling backstory and traits, and also refers to the changes a character undergoes through a story's plot and conflicts. This process builds a strong character arc and helps to make characters believable, complex, and relatable to readers or viewers, right? And that's fact, man. Even within movies and shows, the character, if the plot or the story, there's no, it's just stagnant. There's no evolving. The characters are not changing, throughout the experiences that they go. You don't see towards the end how that there was a change, that they learned something throughout that conflict or plot or whatever. The story or the book or the movie, whatever that it is, it won't be as good, okay? Because throughout the whole thing, it's just been stagnant, right? So, like I was saying, this truth, it really develops your character, man. You really change, because ultimately this story, this life that we're living is ultimately the movie that the Lord's movie, basically. And we're just mere characters within it, and when we came into this truth, that's when we started changing and developing, man. Putting off the old man, as scriptures say. Let's get that. Old man. Oops. This is Colossians 3 and verse in verse 9. It says, lie not to one another, seeing that ye have put off the old man and his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. You see, so, I'm saying we have put off the old man, all right? So we can't, go back to the same things that we used to do, lying. I'm saying it goes up. In verse 8, it says, but now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communications out of your mouth. Lie not one to another. See, I've seen that ye have put off the old man and his deeds. So here it is, these things, we have to put them off. We can't go back to them anymore, right? But we have the new man now, which is constantly evolving, constantly learning and developing, right? Because what? Because that new man is renewed after the image of him that created him, which is who? The Lord. Yeah, about Shemi Shai, man. You know, constantly applying these scriptures, you know what I'm saying? And then learning from our mistakes, and self-reflecting and saying, yo, okay, why did I do that? Okay, I can't do that again, so I gotta fix up next time when I'm present with the situation. And it's very heavy, man. Right? In the world, we didn't do that. I speak for myself. In the world, I wasn't, a self-examining myself and looking in ways I could improve at being a better person or being a better version of myself. I wasn't doing that in the world, man. If anything, I would accept whatever happened. Not accept, but, let's say if something happens, you'll kind of be in that regretful stage and just accept it in a sense. You wouldn't try to learn from your mistakes. Let's put it like that. I speak for myself. I wouldn't try to learn from my mistakes in the world, man. I would just be like, oh man, I fucked up and why did I do that? And then you regret it, But you never try to basically evolve as a person, man. I was pondering upon this week, man. I'm like, wow, this is heavy, man, because, being in the truth, man, it's a constant stage of development, man. And I was pondering up. I'm like, wow, it's very heavy, man. That's beautiful. Because I was doing the contrast of me and the world with, certain things that would happen and how I would go about it to where when I'm in the truth, I'm like, wow, this is really a change, man. Because you're applying the word, every day, man. Your brain is just working. Oh, how can I become better? What can I learn that can make me grow throughout this, today? That's my mind, every day, man. I'm looking in ways to grow and learn new things and just being a better version of myself, man. And that's only possible because I have this truth that's cleansing me. Yeah, I'm saying, let's get that in Psalms 119. Psalms 119 and verse 9, it says, Beth, wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. You see, so by taking heed according to the Lord's word, that's how a young man cleanses his way, man. And it works, bro. Yeah, I'm saying you're applying these words, applying these scriptures. You know what I mean? It works. Okay? Because this is a living document, man. There's a spirit attached to this book. It contains prophecies, not only prophecies and wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. You read Proverbs, Ecclesiasticus, there's different books about wisdom, about, human interaction. And you come to find out, man, when you're faced with a situation, these precepts, they come to mind, man. These different verses in Proverbs and Ecclesiasticus, they come to mind when you're faced with something. Okay, now I see why it says that. And when you apply it, you see it works. These scriptures, they put you a game and they give you a one-up, bro. They give you one up on the people of the world, man. Because ultimately that's what, these scriptures were for, right? For these nations to see our wisdom, our ways and customs and be in awe. And trust me, man, these people are there in awe in your lifestyle, the way that you live, the things that you do. Because trust me, they watch you, man. When you're out and about at the plantation or whatever, these people of the world, they're watching you. They're watching your every move because you stand out. You have a light about you. Ultimately, it's because you have this word within you, man. Which that's how it's supposed to be for the whole nation. If we were to take heed unto the Lord's commandments. Let's read this. Deuteronomy 4 and verse 5, it says, Behold, this is Moses speaking. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all the statutes and say, Surely this nation is a wise and understanding people. right? So if we were to keep the laws and statutes and commandments of the Lord, you know what I'm saying, these other nations, they will watch us and see us like, yo, and say, yo, surely these are the people of the Most High, man. Because what? You know, we will be standing out. You know, we will be separate because of the laws that were only given to us, okay? Because what? We're applying it. It says, verse 7, for what nation is there so great who hath the Most High so nigh unto them? And that's what happens when you apply these words, man. The Lord's, you know, that's a form of you drawing close unto the Lord, and the Lord will draw close unto you, and he will be seen in you. Okay? So these other nations, when when we apply the laws and statutes, they will be like, yo, what nations like these people, man? Yo, these nations, I mean, so like this nation, they're the chosen people of the Most High, man. They're the standard of beauty, because at one point in time, these nations, they did look at us that way, man. You know, during the reign of Solomon, because that was 40 years of righteousness. These nations were in awe at our way of living, man. You know, at our government, the time of Adam. You know, these are just examples, but in the kingdom, this is going to come back, man. You know, way better. It says, as the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, our power is in all things that we call upon him for. And what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all is this law, which I set before you this day? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. You know, they're going to look at us, look at our ways and customs, look at our laws, and just be in awe, man. You know, and just be Star Trek. I just like, yo, our way of living. Okay. And ultimately, right now, this is happening, man, because here it is, you know, we're rehearsing the righteous acts, okay, to our best of our ability. We're trying to keep the laws and live a blameless lifestyle, and these people, they're seeing it. They are in awe. You know, they commend you, you know, for the way that you're living, man. Like, yo, wow. You know, you're really an example, man. I love the way that, you know, you do this and do that, you know? Yeah, because what these people, they're watching us, man. You know, because we're the standard of righteousness on the earth right now, man. Because nobody else is following after righteousness, only us, you know? Only us were following after righteousness and try to our best of our ability, you know, to be separate and be holy, man. Well, these other people, they're not doing that, man. Because what? They ain't got this word, man. They ain't being washed. Let's get this in Ephesians. I want to say the 5th chapter. Because this word is washing us, man. This is Ephesians 5 and verse 26. That he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. Okay, that's how we're being washed. That's how we're being sanctified, man. Being put separate by the washing of the word, man. The word enters your mind and it cleanses it, you know. It cleanses your mind to where all the filthy thoughts are just like, yo, it's cast out, it's put aside. You rebuke yourself. You know what I'm saying? These people, they ain't rebuking themselves, man. They're rebuking certain thoughts that they get. They entertain it, man. While us, we're actually rebuking because we have this word, because we know what the Lord wants. You know, we know, okay, the Lord is not with adultery. You rebuke that thought. The Lord is not with stealing. You rebuke that. You know? And then you just follow after righteousness. I'm telling you, man, this is the best. What was I to say? This is the best thing that you could be a part of, man. You know, this truth, because it actually puts you in the game. You actually evolve as a creature. You know, you put off the old man and you put on the new man. Yo, it's a beautiful thing, man. When you actually think about it and you look at your old actions of things that you did in the world and compare it to now, man, you're like, wow, man. Every day I'm learning. Every day, man. I'm learning from my mistakes. You know, I'm learning to live without regrets. That within itself, man, you know, learning to live without regret. Because what you understand that everything that happens to you ultimately was fashioned by the Lord. You know, he's the one that's directing your steps. You know, when you understand that, what the fuck you need to regret for? You know what I mean? But the people of the world, man, they live in regret and in anxiety and all of that, man, because they don't understand, man. They don't understand. You know, certain things that happen. Oh, I regret. I should have done this. I should have done that. And they're pondering upon it for like months, years. you know, and they can't move on. Yo, it's a deadly trap, bro. But here it is, you have escaped that via this word, man. You know? And you shouldn't be regretting things, man. Being in this truth, man, you shouldn't regret shit. And that's a fact, man. If you are regretting, that's a spirit that's on you. That's a demon that's on you, man. You know? Because when you take a sit back and you meditate for a second, you ponder, man, like, yo, what the fuck am I regretting for? Yo, scriptures say that the Lord is the one that directs the steps. So if this happened to me, it's because what the Lord was leading me to this point here, you know? And that could happen, you're in the flesh, Satan could come up in your mind like that to make you regret certain things, but, you shouldn't live with regret, man. That's the thing for the world, you know? Us, we're moving forward. We're not looking backward. We're moving forward. Okay? Yeah, man. It's heavy. It's heavy, man. But anyways, man, that was in my spirit. I was pondering upon this throughout the whole week, man, of the marvelous work of the Lord, of Him, working in our minds and making us grow each and every day, man. Like scripture say, the light of the righteous. Let's get that. We're going to close with that, man. The light of the righteous shineth from day to day, man. Wonderful, man. It's in Proverbs. There you go. Proverbs 4 and verse 18. But the path of the just is as a shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day, man. You see? The light of the just, I said righteous, Salakia. The light of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more into the perfect day. And that's a fact, man. Our light is shining from day to day, man, because what? From day to day, we're constantly learning. We're constantly improving. It's not stagnant. The Lord did say, if you believe on Him, as the scripture, I say, what? Living water shall flow out of your belly, man. I guess that's a constant state of moving, moving motion. It's not stagnant. It's moving. Okay, you look at a waterfall, the water is constantly going down. It's moving. It's flowing. So it's the same thing with us, man. We're just moving and constantly evolving, man. It's going to be the same way in the kingdom too. Constantly learning, constantly improving. Yo, that's what scriptures speak about, how that the knowledge and understanding of the Lord is infinite, man. There's no searching out of the Lord's comprehension of His understanding. And we're going to be tapped into that, man. And we are tapped into that right now. On a small scale, but in the kingdom, we're going to be open on a whole nother level, man. Wow, bro. It's like, yo, it's beautiful. It's very beautiful, man. And when you understand that, you see what scriptures say, man, you should desire wisdom above rubies, above gold, any riches. Like, yeah, because riches can give you this. Riches cannot give you, I'm saying, what's it called? Can I give you basically what we're talking about right now, man? That development, you evolving. Riches cannot give you that, man. But this wisdom can. When you apply it, everything else comes with it. Look at King Solomon. He asked for wisdom, and then what? He gained everything else. Because what? Wisdom is the mother of all things, as scriptures say. So each day that goes on, man, we're evolving, we're growing, man. We're learning something new. Even though our apostles, I'm saying our elders that's been in this way longer than us, man, they always say that, yo, I'm always learning and constantly growing, man. And they've been in this for 40 years on plus, man. Apostles, elders 20, 15 years on. And they say they're constantly learning and growing, man. But anyways, man, I'm going to close it off there, man. By giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh. Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Wachach Chodesh.